is power. All right. Make sure you hear me. Knowledge is power. You can hear me, Michaela?
I hear you, Dr. Frazier.
What I said.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Well, actually, Dr. Tilton said that. He said knowledge is power. And he said knowledge of how to have health it gives you the greatest power, because imagine all the health issues that we're suffering in our community today. Imagine if you had the knowledge on how to correct that health issue. People are dying from cancer, lupus, bone degeneration, all type of health issues that mankind is suffering from. Is causing them to prematurely age, prematurely die. Imagine if you had the knowledge that it takes to heal that cancer, to get rid of that lupus, to regrow them bones, to restore that sight, and all the things that we're suffering from. Imagine if you had that. That would give you the greatest power over even the greatest skilled doctor. The doctor ain't even curing all his cases of disease. But imagine if you knew the cure to disease, you knew the cure to AIDS and all the other so-called diseases that we're suffering from. That gives you power. It gives you the greatest power. So that's the knowledge that we're bringing to you to give you the greatest power. It's called natural hygiene, our basic cure, our natural cure of how to restore the body back to health. This is another episode of Natural is Health. I have the great minister, Michaela, up here. You already know. Minister of Health. She's going to minister, and she has been ministering individuals back to health for quite a while now since she's been exposed to natural hygiene. This is what makes everybody become ministers. You know, once you heal yourself or watch people around you get healed, you can't do nothing but tell the good news. The body heals itself, people. You know, and especially when you're seeing somebody suffering that's, going to the doctor back and forth, getting treatments and different stuff, and they're not getting any better. And you know that you watch somebody else do the same thing and actually get better by practicing natural hygiene, our basic cure, you know. And it's going to make you just want to talk to them. So you're ministering, you're helping them, you're a servant to helping them. So this is what she's been doing. So I'm gonna let her say hello to y'all before we go into our teaching. Hey, Miss Michaela.
Hi, Dr. Frazier. Hi, audience. Thank you for tuning in. You could have been anywhere, but you are here, and we definitely appreciate that. This is an edification for us every time we do it. Every time we talk about these principles that we're going to discuss today, it just continues to strengthen us in our journey. And so we know that if you got your notebook, grab your notebook and write some things down, because there are going to be some jewels here. Dr. Frazier, you were just talking about knowledge being power, and wanting to, and the fact of the matter is, you want to heal yourself. You don't want to be sick. Nobody wants to be sick. Nobody wants to suffer from disease. All you have to do is apply some very, very simple practices to your life and live well.
It's so simple that a young child can and do it, and they do it naturally. The young child does it naturally. Animals follow instinct naturally and get fresh air and sunlight. Principles that we teach. We don't tell you some toxic chemical to go out there and seek and find and ball this and ball that and take the dung from animals and you. We don't use all that stuff, do we?
Not me.
I can't, I can't see myself whipping up no snake poo and and wrapping it around my sores or some spider something, what I'm saying, some smashed up spiders and making a tea out of it and calling myself getting rid of some type of typhoid fever or anything like that. I don't see myself doing that.
Yeah. There's
How
no
about
there's no mystery. There's no mystery with natural hygiene. Everything is straightforward and very simple. Very simple.
I even tell a lot of people at times, what I'm saying, what is needed for health is the same thing that's going to keep you healthy. And it's the same thing that's going to reverse disease when you start suffering disease. So if a sick man is sick, he's sick because he's not doing the things that create health. And a healthy man, he becomes sick when he stopped doing the things that create health. So it's the same thing. It's fresh air, it's sunlight, it's water, it's ideal food. When he's not doing those things, he gets sick. And if he start doing those things, he get healthy. If he
Right.
stop doing them, he gets sick. If he start He gets healthy, and it goes on. You can go on a yo-yo effect. It would behoove you not to play around with your health like that. But anybody can practice this right now and see if we're being honest. Sit there and eat nothing but toxic food for 1 month and see what happened to you. And then, matter of fact, they had a show where the man did a big, ugly, and fat or something like that. He ate a bunch of McDonald's for 30 days or something like that, and he got disease, pressure went up, and all type of stuff like that. And then he went on a raw food diet, and he actually all those diseases disappeared from him. That's actually a show. I wish I can think of that the name of the show, but I know it said big, fat, and ugly or something like that. It's something to
Wow.
that nature. But it's actually a documentary where a guy did that, and he was able to make himself sick by eating the standard American diet, which we call the SAD diet,
That's
the
right.
custom foods that mankind is eating. Then he started eating a health food diet, exercising, getting fresh air and sunlight, and he started, springing back to life. He got rid of his health issues, became slim again because he was big, fat, and ugly. I think, that's what the documentary is. But we want to thank you for tuning into this episode of Natural as Health. It come on every you know why they call it Natural as Health, right, Michaela?
No, why, Dr. Frazier?
Oh man. Because my name is Frazier.
Okay.
Well, I don't think that's why they call it. But a lot of them, when I started telling them what I teach and what we talk about and how we go around healing people, they said, "Man, y'all natural as a elf." They say the
Right,
word. You know what I mean?
right, right.
So they said, "Well, that's what your show is going to be named." I had no say in the matter. The
Okay.
producers and all that, they came up with this. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, if you go to our first show, you will hear them saying it over and over in the middle of the show. Um, they would actually just, I would say, man, you got to be natural as, and they would be, you hear it in the background like an audience. You know how in Martin, when they used to be clapping or making or laughing at stuff, or he'll go to the audience or something like that and talk. Well, that's exactly how they were doing in the background on our first debut show when we first aired on our Black Media platform. So any of our listeners can go and check that out. But we're here every Tuesday. We're live. If you notice, across the bottom came a comment a few minutes ago. If you're here live with us, you can type in a comment, ask questions or anything, and we will help answer or identify or help you with health issues that you're suffering from right here on air. We'll stop our teaching and help you understand, provided we don't have too many up there at one time. But we'll try to go into detail real quick, help you understand what might be going on with your body and what steps you can take to start correcting those health issues where you can start feeling better. So you don't have to come and spend bukus of money in our office, sit down in our chair and peel off them dollars. You can get it right here if you just pay attention to the show and send others who suffering from stuff. They can come right here and get the teachings from me and Minister Michaela on how to get back to health. We've been doing it for quite a while now, for a very long time. Over a decade now, we've been teaching about health and healing. So we have experience. If you're looking for experience, well, we have the experience. Not only do we have it in watching others, but we do it in our own self. That's the greatest of experience when we've applied it to our own health. And now we're teaching others. So we build wealth for ourselves first. All right. So now you know what time it is, Miss Michaela. I'm going to read from Dr. Tilton, and you're going to have to break it down. So I'm going to be I'm going to read out of the Bible, and
Okay.
I need you to preach to the people for a minute.
Okay. All right.
All right. All right. So we're in February still, and we're coming from Dr. J.H. Tilden. So we're going to go into his teachings. We're going to go down to the 24th verse. No, yeah, we're going to go down to the 24th verse. Metabolic waste is a toxic byproduct, as constant and necessary as life itself. When the organism is normal, this poisonous waste is produced and eliminated as fast as it is produced. From the point of production to the point of elimination, it is carried by the blood. Hence, at no time is the organism free from toxins in the blood. But in a normal amount, these wastes are generally stimulated, or they and but when the organism is innervated or fatigued, elimination is checked. Then the amount retained becomes overstimulating, toxic, ranging from a slight excess to an amount so profound as to overwhelm life and cause death. All right. I know I said a lot there, Michaela. If you need me to read a little bit and break it down and then let you teach, you tell me.
Well, I have more questions, Dr. Frazier, than I have answers. I'm gonna address it, but then I want to ask you some questions because I think there's a lot in that you could flesh out. Metabolic waste in the body. Number one, if you could tell us what that is. But before you do that, what I want to say is waste is created in the body um, in in many ways. When you inhale and exhale, you inhale oxygen, you exhale carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide, the oxygen goes into your body, and what your body does is, Dr. Frazier can explain to you, is engineers that oxygen and uses it. But then what it dispels, because what's caused in there is a waste product, and that waste product is then the carbon dioxide that you exhale. So when anytime there are toxins in the body's response to that is, first of all, to, I'm assuming metabolize might be the wrong word, but assimilate whatever it is you put in the body or on the body, which will then create something that the body can't use. And then the body has to eliminate it through all of the organs of elimination. And I don't think we even recognize or realize what organs of eliminations are. Even having dandruff in your scalp, when you have that dry scalp, it is just an elimination process of the body. But so basically what Dr. Frazier has said is everything that you put in and on your body is going to produce a waste inside the body. And then the body in return is going to expel that waste. The way to stop that is to innervate, which is to fatigue the body at the cellular level, to fatigue the body. And then the organs of elimination do not then properly eliminate, which stores the toxins in the body, in the blood first. But if you think about your blood, it travels all through your body. Everything in your body needs the blood in order to survive. The life is in the blood. Your life is in your blood. And so if that blood is toxic, then it delivers the toxins all over your body. So I think that's what, if it's 23, if what we're talking about there. But Dr. Frazier, if you could tell us metabolic waste.
Yeah,
And then
metabolic waste is waste that is created within the body. They're usually in hygiene, we call that endogenous waste. Endogenous waste is waste that is created within the organism from like spent debris, from cellular debris, old cells dying. Anytime the body use materials and have waste from it, you know what I'm saying, like burning up oxygen, burning off carbohydrates. Now you have carbon left and you use the hydrate. So all that waste that is left over is now metabolic waste, and the body have to get rid of that metabolic waste. When phagocytes and old leukocytes eat at antigens and agents that's inside the body, they have to be eliminated as well. So all that is metabolic waste that have to be taken out of the body. Now, in exogenous waste, exogenous is exogenous. That's waste produced from without the body. So you got waste that come from without the body, such as food. We put waste in our body. That's called exogenous waste. We drink poisonous stuff. That's exogenous waste. We take medicines and remedies and stuff. That's exogenous waste. Anything that's coming from without is exogenous. Anything that is coming from within is endogenous waste, which would be metabolic waste. So anytime that metabolic waste, and metabolic waste is a constant byproduct. As long as you're living, you're producing waste within your cellular tissue, because to move is to produce waste, create energy. Your talking, your thinking, all that is producing waste. Everything of life itself is producing waste. That's metabolic waste. And this has been going on since you were born. Ever since you was created in your mother's body, you've been even creating waste in your mother's womb. And she was getting rid of the waste for you. Now, even when you get out, you're still creating waste all the way until you die. That's when the metabolic waste stops. There's no more cellular functioning. So there's no more waste that the cells are going to be putting off in this thing called life. So as long as that's going on, you're going to be producing waste. Now, under normal conditions, your body can deal with that waste. It can deal with waste under normal conditions. But when you are at an all-time low, fatigue from excessive work, excessive play, excessive sex, excessive eating, excessive drinking, or any other excess that drain your body of vitality, well, then that elimination of that normal waste is checked. It can't be eliminated no more. So it's going to accumulate into the body and is going to start producing irritation into your cells and tissues. Because think about it, if the waste that your cells make don't get eliminated from the cell, well, your cells are now bathing in filth and they're being irritated. They're being drowned in their own filth and irritated. And it's causing inflammation in those cells. That inflammation leads to what? Ulceration. That ulceration leads to what? Hardening, induration. And that induration leads to degeneration or fungation, which is cancer. So innovation, toxic waste buildup, because you got to think who we're talking about here. We're talking about J.H. Tilden. He the one came up with the toxemia theory. When we say that there's one cause of disease, toxemia, well, this is the man that came up with that toxemia theory, showing that our body, well, he's not the one that came up with it, because like you said, Jesus said it in the Bible. He said there can be no regeneration, but first by purification of the blood. All right. Okay. So he's been saying that the blood is what's causing our sickness, and we have to be saved by our blood. We got to purify that blood. We got to have a renewing, a regeneration of that blood. All right. So that was said way prior to
Dr. Tilden, right?
Dr. Tilden. But according to natural hygiene, we're going to give respect to J.H. Tilden, Dr. J.H. Tilden, because he profoundly brought it into the scientific community, the holistic scientific community, on the theory of toxemia, which is a magnificent understanding of why we suffer from disease, that there's only one disease, which is toxemia. Does that make a little more sense?
Oh, absolutely. I believe that I understood. I just wanted to get the metabolic. So let me say this: metabolic, is that what is?
Metabolic
Waste is natural.
Toxic byproduct. That's just like, for example, think about it, like in your gas tank. When you go put gas in the car and you burn that gas, what comes out of the tailpipe? A byproduct of the gas burning.
Okay.
Right? It gave you fuel to go a little further, but there's a byproduct, a waste product that resulted from you using that gas.
Right.
All right. So by you using sugar and oxygen to oxidize that sugar to give you energy, there's a byproduct that's going to come from that cell, a waste product. And that waste product is dumped into the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system dumps it into the blood system. The blood system takes it to an elimination organ, such as the kidneys, such as the lungs, such as the colon, and they extract and filter the blood of the waste, and then you void it out in a bowel movement, a urination, or breathing. You see what I'm coming from? So you're getting rid of that byproduct through normal channels when they're coming through the breathing, when they're coming through urine, when they're coming through waste. But when they're coming out through the armpits and coming out through the eyeballs and coming out through the ear, and like you said, coming out as dandruff through the skin or some other skin eruption, or are they coming out through these areas vicariously? You see urine coming out through the lungs in the form of pneumonia or typhoid fever or something like that, or you got stones coming out through your kidneys instead of solid stuff coming out of your colon, or if you got feces coming out through your lungs and stuff like that, that's vicarious elimination right there. That means that's not a good thing. You know.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that puts it in a whole different light. because you're not eliminating through normal natural channels. Now
Right.
you're eliminating in ways that the body is having to create ways to eliminate the waste that is in there. And I don't want to get too far away from the fact that it is the innervation or the
Yeah.
fatigue that has caused this. Can you talk a little bit about what causes the fatigue? What does that mean exactly? What causes the fatigue that stops the normal elimination?
Well, according to natural hygiene, we all have energy, this thing called nerve energy. All right. Nerve energy is a low grade of functioning power that is created in the brain, travels down our spinal cord, goes to the peripheral nerves, and is dispersed to every cell in the body. Just like you see in Georgia Power. In Georgia. That's if you're in Georgia. Now, if you're somewhere else, you might have some other power company that supply your house with power. But here in Georgia, we got this place called Georgia Power. And Georgia Power got these big turbines that they produce electricity. And they send that electricity through these big old power lines that you see down the highways. And from the highways, they trickle down and transform down into smaller, low power lines, which then travel in the byways into our house and hook up to our house. Now, we get power. All right. So the power plant is like the brain. Those big old peripheral lines, well, those big old power lines along the highway is like our spinal cord. And those peripheral lines are the little lines that we can go outside and see hooked up to our house. That's how we get power in the body, in our cells. They get power from the brain through that system. Now, when that system is not operating properly, or you don't have enough power generating through those lines, let's say Georgia Power have a shutdown. If Georgia Power have half of their turbines break down and they're only putting out 50% power, well, who do you think is going to be without power in Georgia? Do you think the police station, the governor's mansion, the hospitals, and important places are going to be without power? And
No,
do you think the juke
residents.
joints, the strip clubs, like that, going to have power before the
The
hospital?
residences are going to lose their power first. So
Right.
residences, apartment complexes, places where individuals live and cohabitate.
Right. That's not very important. You really got people who on dialysis. You got people on respiratory machines and all type of other stuff hooked up to them in the hospital. So they're gonna have power before anybody else have power. The
Mhm.
place that they might have for defense to hit the button, to push a button to send off missiles to defend the city or whatever is going to make sure they have power. They're not going to be without power. So that's the same thing with the body. The body know that there's vital organs and cells in the body that need power no matter what. So if the body is running low on power because you spent it all last night drinking a half a bottle of gin, and your body had to constantly urinate all that poison out, and now you don't have enough energy to do anything else, well, it's going to hold back some of that energy for vital issues, and so you're going to be lacking in other issues. So this is how the body start, you say, deciding or cutting back on its use of it. Of its, I don't want to use a big word, but expenditure of energy. Its use of energy, in other words, it's going to give an allotment to the more vital. It's going to give a bigger inheritance to something very important. Imagine if you had somebody going to buy you some food. Then you had somebody who was going to buy you some dirt to put around your garden. Which one you going to give the most money to? What's more important? Food for the house, not dirt for the garden. To put around your flower bed. Now, if it's a real garden to grow food, then dirt might be more important. But just for a flower bed to show off in the neighborhood, that's not that important. Then your kids in here starving to death. You
Right.
know. So the same thing with the body. Why would your body give more energy to, let's say, the man's sex organ for him to have sex, but then he don't have no energy for his brain to think? You know, that'd be a dumb body to give more energy to his little head than his big head. You know what I'm saying? Should I have not said it like that? Yeah,
Well, no,
they call the show
that's
natural.
fine. That's fine. Reproductive versus
So you got to think of it like that. You know, the body is going to use wisdom in dispersing its energy. So it's going to cut back on energy where it's not needed to keep it for energy where it's needed. You can't live without brain function. You can't live without the heart beating. You can't live without the lungs breathing. So those are going to be without power all the way to the. They're going to be with power all the way to the end. If the whole power plant got to shut down before the brain shut down. You know what I'm saying? Because when the brain shut down, that is the power plant.
Right. It's the power.
You know what I mean?
Okay. So
there's not going to be
losing
no
it.
activity going through the body. You know, when your brain dead, that's it. You
Right.
know, if your lungs not operating right now, it can come back and start functioning. If your kidney stop, it can come back and start functioning. You know, you can even put another kidney in there and get it going. You know what I'm saying? But you can't replace the brain with another brain. Like imagine if I went brain dead and they gave me your brain, Michaela. Now, would it be me or would it be you in my body? You know what I'm saying? That's a good question.
That's a good question.
But now we know if my heart stopped and they gave me your heart, I would still be me. You know what I'm saying? The heart doesn't carry, everything like, my essence and my power and everything like the brain do. You know, so we have to look at it like that. But that's the power plant. So when that body is running out of power, then yes, your kidney's not going to function like they're supposed to. Your colon not going to function like it's supposed to. Your lungs not going to function like it's supposed to. You're going to have the tingling and numbness in the hands and feet because the body is telling you to stop walking, stop using those hands. But they call it neuropathy. Oh, they got nerve damage. No, that's just the body pulling back on this vitality. How you going to have nerve damage in both hands and feet, simultaneously? If it was nerve damage, it would be localized to wherever the damage is at. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
So when you have numbness and tingling in both hands and both feet, then that's your body warning you that it's pulling back on its energy.
Right.
It's trying to tell you, hey, you're low in power. You just don't know how to read the meter. That's the meter telling you, hey, we're running out. Hey, we on red here, buddy.
Yeah. That's profound.
So when it's on red, even constipation, that's letting you know that your colon is running on red. But what we do, we go take laxative and force it into action. We tell it to work even though it's tired. Now, imagine if you had a horse and this horse, you had to take up a hill, but the horse can only make it halfway up the hill. If you stop halfway and give it rest, and then you can carry it up the rest of the way. But imagine us, instead of giving the horse a rest, we beat it and tell it, no, I don't want you to stop. I'm going to pack him across his back and make him carry me on up the hill. By the time he get up the hill, guess what's going to happen to that horse?
He's going to die.
He's going to die.
He's going to die, yeah.
He's definitely going to die. Same thing with our colon. We constantly beating everything into activity. We go take, our kidneys are not functioning. What they give us, water pills to make it function. Same thing. That's just a laxative to the kidneys. You know what I'm saying? To make it work. We're constantly goading our body parts to work when they're tired. So fatigue is what we call innervation in natural hygiene. So when you start becoming innervated, your organs of elimination is checked. You don't have bowel movements like you're supposed to. You don't have effective carbon release like you're supposed to. Your kidneys don't filter the blood and get rid of toxins. You might still have urination, but you're not getting rid of waste out of your blood. You might still have bowel movements, but your colon is still not extracting waste from the blood. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people think, oh yeah, I'm having many bowel movements, but is that bowel movements of the food you're eating, or is it Are you just getting rid of the food that you're putting in your body, or are you getting rid of the waste material, metabolic waste that's being produced in your body? There's two
Wow.
different waste removals there,
Wow.
you know.
Okay.
So if it's not getting checked, then you about to start overwhelming your whole body. A lot of people wondering why they're going through anxiety and why they're having all these immune problems, because the whole immune system is under attack because it's trying to deal with the excess of toxins that is being overwhelmed in the body because you're too innovated to do any housework. You know, imagine you in the house and you're not cleaning your house, and it doesn't become overwhelming with trash, clothes everywhere, and you just sitting in there overwhelmed, and you just, oh God, I just can't take it. I'm stressed. You know, that's exactly what's going on in the human body right now.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna take a break real quick, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna put you back on the pulpit, and we're gonna have you preaching some more. All right, you ready?
So
All
yes,
right.
sir. All right.
Hey, this is Naturalist F, and we're here every Tuesday at 6 o'clock, and we're talking health all day long. Now, I got two more that I want to talk to you about, Michaela, and then on the third one, that's what I want you to. I'm just going to read these other two to you. Now, if you want to say something, you just stop me. But I really want you to preach on this last one, all right?
Okay.
All right, so this one goes along with the one we just talked about. He says in here, endogenous toxic waste, the products of metabolism and cellular renewal and reparative processes, is a constant. So the body is constantly tearing itself down, building itself up. You know, that's one of the laws that we learn in the laws of life, that the body is constantly in a state of repairing itself or renewing itself. So anytime you eat something healthy and some good material come in, it's going to renew itself with the good material and get rid of the old material. So it's constantly trying to rebuild itself and repair itself. Now, to rebuild itself, it got to take down some old stuff before it can put new stuff there. That old stuff now become waste material and must be removed from the body. All right. Now, that is cellular renewal and the reparative process. And it's saying here that it is a constant process, and it's going on from day up to sundown, from sun up to sundown, from sun up to sundown, year after year, month after month, day after day. It's going on and on. And it says that being continually evolved. And when nerve energy is normal, it is a constantly eliminated as fast as it is evolved. So soon as this waste material is brought to the blood from the cells, under normal conditions, when you have high nerve energy, soon as it is brought to the blood, it's eliminated. Soon as another piece comes to the blood, it's removed. That's only when you have high nerve energy or you have high functioning power or high vitality. But when that energy is low, that cell bring in toxic waste in the blood, there's nothing to move it because the body has no energy to move it yet. Then more toxic stuff come and more toxic stuff. And now the toxins in the blood is accumulating. And now you're ending up with toxemia, poison blood. Now this poison blood, when this blood becomes so poisonous, the body is going to find alternative routes. Since the kidneys can't filter it because it's too tired to do it, because you done drunk so much Coca-Cola, Pepsi, teas, and all type of other liquors and drinks that have innervated your kidneys to damage, then it can't do its normal work of getting rid of metabolic waste. And so now that waste that the kidneys would normally get rid of can't get rid of no more. And now the body have to form some alternative route. It can't go this route. It got to go to another route. Now it's about to come out of your nose, about to come out of your eye. And now you calling that, oh, I got cold, I got stuff pus coming out of my eyes and all type of stuff. And you go to the doctor and do what? Okay, I'm gonna put something there to stop the pus from coming out. Now you just blocked another route. Now this route was blocked because of overuse, and now you just blocked it with a remedy or a medicine. Now the body got to find another alternative. It got to keep finding an alternative every time we put a stop to every so-called elimination or disease that we go through. You know, in hygiene, we don't stop disease. We let disease run a course.
Right.
Right? Because we know that is the cure.
It is the cure.
When it come out, then there's nothing else left to come out. The symptoms stop as fast as they came on. Once it came, all that poison came right on out. All right. All right. Second one. Oh, did you have anything to put towards that?
No, sir.
All right. Overeating is a common and universal habit. Intemperance of any kind establish a want which, if not satisfied in the usual way, will turn to other ways of being satisfied. Drunkenness and crime of all kinds are vicarious toxins eliminations, crises of toxemia. So what I'm hearing here is overeating is a common and universal habit. And when we can't fulfill those habits, we go and start reaching out for other toxic stimulating things such as drinking, smoking, and all type of other stuff. And it just become a lewdness, vicarious toxins elimination, full of toxins building up in our body. So I was telling a young man today who I was talking with how with my daughter, when she was smoking cigarettes real bad and all type of stuff, and when we laid her on the couch to fast for a couple of weeks, when she came out of that fast, neither was she smoking cigarettes. She couldn't even stand the smell of cigarettes. Shoot, some people can't stand to smell nothing after they come out of a fast because their senses of smell be so strong, their sense of taste be so strong, everything about them be renewed that they just can't stand the poisons in any manner. Imagine a person who stay away from crack a long time and he go and try to take his familiar amount of crack. It'll have him like, oh Lord, I can't do this. This is just too toxic. Now, once upon a time, that half a slab of crack wouldn't do him no justice. He'd be like, I ain't got enough. I need more. He'd be like Dave Chappelle on on the Dave Chappelle show where he was acting like the crackhead. He's like, ooh, I want more crack. What I'm saying? Like that. But when he stopped doing it, that'd be too much crack for him. All right, same thing. So when she went to try to go and smoke something, she couldn't do it because her body would no longer tolerate this stuff once you clean yourself from this stuff. So the best way to break any addiction, according to Jeremiah in the Bible, was to break any chain is to fast. You have to fast from a thing. The longer you stay away from a thing, the less hold it have on you. The longer you stay away from it, the less it have a hold on you. So out of sight is truly out of mind. So as long as you get it out of your sight, you can break any addiction in your life by staying away from it. That's why they back in the days, they used to tie you to a bed and let you be shaking and all type of stuff. They say you're going through an exorcism. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But they're getting that devil out of you. You fighting them, cussing them out. Give me a cigarette or give me my drink and stuff until it get out of you, until you're not making no noise. And they say you're healed. You know what I mean? That's how it really was. It wasn't this demon stuff that they called it that. But when that poison get out of you, then it'll be out of you. All right. So you ready to start preaching? Here we go. The deadly germ on the hands, the lips, drinking cups, hanging straps, or streetcars, on a doorknob, or any other so-called thing, is in fact found anywhere and everywhere. It is not deadly until it gets mixed up with man's daily, dirty, filthy physical and mental habits. The deadly germ must be mixed with retained, pent-up waste products before it becomes metamorphosized into its deadly and toxic state. Normal, healthy persons are instead deadly to all germs and parasites peculiar to the human habitat. Now, do you want me to read half and let you do it?
That's what you that's what you're giving me, Doc.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, give me the
You
first
talked
half.
about this a lot, and we teached on this a lot. You just have to recall it.
Okay,
But
give me
this
the
is what
first
we
half.
talked about when we talked about the clean trash can and the dirty trash can.
Right. Right. Give me the first half.
The deadly germ on the hands, on the lips, drinking cups, hanging straps, streetcars, doorknobs, spoons, tables. You know, they got people around here wearing masks and wearing gloves and all type of stuff, talking about they trying to protect themselves from germs. All right. But the deadly germs are only deadly after they get mixed up with man's deadly, dirty, filthy physical and mental habits.
So, okay, so the reason why I pause here is because germs, really? Germs? So, okay, so things that you can see under a microscope. Is that what you mean? That these everything that we're so afraid of, these germs that cause disease. It just threw me off that germ even comes up.
Well, that's the main thing in medical science. They got this thing by Louis Pasteur called the germ theory. You know, we teach the toxemia theory, the theory of diseases, toxins built up in the blood. Well, the medical people are under the idea or mindset that germs is the cause of disease. So they go by a germ theory, saying that when germs enter the body, it invades the body and causes the body to become sick. And that's why we suffer. But under holistic care, we believe that toxemia is the cause of disease. Toxins retained in the blood causes man to get sick via abnormal routes of elimination. See, there's two different theories there.
Well, it just makes me think of, when you talk about germs, it makes me think of people who, don't want to let the kids go out and play in the dirt.
Right.
Get out of that dirt and don't get dirty. Don't get mud. You're gonna get sick, or whatever. Don't put that in your mouth, kind of stuff. But and then the people who would say in that same conversation, that boy need that dirt,
Right.
let them boys get dirty, and a certain amount of germs are good for you. That's something that I heard too as a kid, just from the old folks. But it seems to me like what you're saying when you talk about our trash can analogy is that these things, you can get all the germs on you want if your body if your temple is whole and it is healthy and it is able to eliminate. But when you have habits that are causing you to maintain your toxins, then you're not allowing the toxins out, which goes back to the point number one. Your energy is low, so you're not eliminating like you're supposed to, and then you put a germ into that environment. Then that you're just compounding. You're just putting more trash on top of trash. Where the analogy comes from, I'm sorry, we're talking about the analogy we talked about. If you put the trash in the trash can and you just leave it and you don't empty it, you don't eliminate the waste, and you just continue to put trash on top of it, parasites will come to that trash. Mm-hmm. So if we're talking about germs being those living, moving things that eat filth, I mean, they come to filth. They're generated out of filth. They come there to eat that, and then it causes all of the other things, the smells, and if you've ever composted inside and you put a lid on that nasty filth, it'll cause the gases, because you'll see your container expand or the top pop off of it. It creates a pressure. in that environment. So germs coming into your already, like you said, filthy environment. That's a hard pill to swallow, Doc, to tell people, well, your environment is filthy,
Right.
you know.
Your internal
But
is bagged up and filthy.
right, it's a hard pill to swallow. But if we could get our, emotions or our feelings off of our sleeves and understand that the ideal diet for the human body is fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds. And if you must drink, you drink clean water, pure water, which is distilled, like rainwater, or the water that comes out of your fruit is distilled water. And that is what's ideal for the body. Anything else that you're putting in there is creating uh, a toxic environment, is creating a filthy environment, a nasty, if you will. So, so then your germs, they're attracted to that because they eat that.
Right.
They feed
That's
off of,
food for them, man. That's
that.
food for them.
Right. They feed off of the filth. But if there's no filth for the germ to feed on, then you don't have to worry about germs. Germs are then not a concern for you because it doesn't have anything to eat when it comes there.
And so you think it's gonna stay there long if no food there? How many of
Well,
y'all go
no.
to parties and stay there with no food there? Oh, this party lame. You know what I mean? I'm getting up out of here.
Right, right.
But
And
yeah.
so then that's the germ, the psyche of the germ.
So
I'm leaving this clean place. But if it finds it filthy, then it can come in and take up residence and multiply.
right. Because there's
Yeah,
food there. Man, this
yeah,
is heaven to them. A
yeah,
filth. You give
yeah.
some flies and maggots and worms and parasites a dirty trash can, they're gonna say, "Oh God, this is heaven. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord." But if you throw them in a clean trash can, they're gonna say, "What in the world? This is hell. Ain't no food here, nothing for
Right,
us to eat. We can't
right,
reproduce. We
right,
about to die."
right, right.
Yeah.
There's no environment for the filth, for the parasites to grow, for the germ to have its way. No environment if you are practicing a hygienic and a clean lifestyle.
Right. So here he's saying the deadly germ must be mixed with retained pent up waste products before it becomes metamorphosized into its deadly and toxic state. Normal, healthy persons are instead deadly to all germs. Remember, the clean trash can is deadly to parasites.
Right,
They're going to die in there. If you
right,
put a lid on them inside that dirty trash can, they're going to die. It's
right.
deadly to them because there's nothing in there for them to eat. They
In a
can't
clean,
regrow in
in
there
a
and
clean
reproduce.
trash.
You see what
Right,
I'm coming from?
right, right.
But you can put one. You can put 1,000 in the clean trash can, and all 1,000 of them gonna die. But you can put one in a filthy trash can and open that trash can. You're gonna see 1,000 in there when you open
Right,
it back up.
right. Is this leading then to Dr. Frazier, the parasites in the body? Because we don't, when we talk about being unhealthy and talk about being toxic and toxemia being the one disease, and then you take that toxemia to the hospital and the doctor calls it an itis, or
Right.
whatever else, the other terms that they have to name things. Are we now talking about parasites? Does that open the door to say that all of those things are in fact parasites?
Well, the thing is, though, parasites, when you have parasitic growth or bacterial growth or something like that, it's growing out of your filth, your waste. You're already toxic. You're already suffering from toxemia disease because there can be no parasitic growth if there's no toxemia. Toxemia is the one cause of all disease. It's always going to be the root toxemia. Now,
Mhm.
toxemia is going to bring on these other issues. But the main disease that all mankind is suffering from is poison blood. If you don't allow your blood to become poisonous, you never won't have any of this other stuff. You see where I'm coming from? Nothing else is going to manifest itself because your body is not going to have to get rid of no poison through the nose, through the eyes. No diarrhea going to form. None of this is going to have to form because there's no poisoning in your blood. There's no poison in the blood. But when you have poison in the blood, then your body is going to have to go through these extra means and challenges and channels to get rid of this excessive waste that's being built up in the body. Because if it don't react to the poison and get it out, guess what's going to happen to us?
Well, hardening, fungation.
Death. Death.
Right, right, that,
We're gonna die.
right.
You can look at it. You know, anybody can go on YouTube right now and look at the cell and you know, look at a scientist in the laboratory taking care of a cell, a single cell, amoeba cell, which is the smallest living cell that we've been able to identify. The single cell, the amoeba cell. Now it can culture it in the laboratory. It can put it in this little culture, in this little solution. Now that cell, if it's in that culture, that scientist is this God from then on. Because whatever that cell eat got to come from the scientist.
Comes from
The
outside.
scientist also got to make sure the temperature around that cell is good. It also got to make sure that that solution that the amoeba cell is in must be changed on a regular basis. Because if it's not changed, that solution will become filthy. You can look at that in your fish aquarium. You put fish in there inside the water, and if you don't change that water every couple of weeks or so, it will become so toxic that the fish will
It will
die.
die. Right,
All right.
right,
So this is the same thing with the cells in the body. If the cells in the body don't constantly have a cleansing going on, and the medium in the cells of the body are called lymphatic fluid or lymph fluid. All right. And that lymph fluid bathes every cell. And when you
right.
move around and it slides into the blood system and it mingles with the blood around the thoracic duct and the subclavian vein is being poured into the blood system. And once it's poured into the blood system, it then is now circulating as poison in the blood. All right. And then that blood goes to the organs of elimination and is filtered. And you urinate stuff out. Yeah. You see where I'm coming from? So
Right.
now, if the blood is too toxic, someone said, how long should someone fast? How long should someone fast, Michaela? You know, we had to stop and answer them questions,
Um, Dr. Frazier, I can't answer that because I in indeterminate amount of time. You fast until I fast until Dr. Frazier tell me to stop fasting.
And usually, when I tell people to stop fasting is when I see that the fast has done its job. When I see the urine lighten up, because during the fast, the urine usually get real dark, and when I see it start lightening up, then we know that the fast is now coming to a completion. When the tongue becomes clear, you know, no longer coated tongue. We notice that the eyes become brighter, more sparkling. We notice that the smell become intense. Like how we say, you start to smell better after fasting. Your senses improve. So your issue is usually going whatever you initially started the fast for. You notice that that's no longer bothering you unless it's some really chronic issue that required 2 or 3 fasts to correct.
Right.
But
Right. And my thought about that was, you stop fasting. I guess that you just answered that, depending on what the purpose of your fast was. So when
right.
the fast has accomplished its work, then you stop fasting.
Here in the book, I pull it up real quick. You know, I keep some references on hand real quick. But signs of the complete fast: a bright, clear tongue. You know, once the heavily coated tongue becomes clean and pink, you know it's time to
Right.
break the fast. Sweet breath, a fresh and clean tasting tongue. A normalized temperature, a normalized pulse rate. Your pulse rate won't be extremely high no more because you done took a bunch of the toxic load out of the body. The blood pressure going to go down. A normalized skin reactions, a return of normal saliva flow. You're not going to have to dry mouth no more. A
Wow.
clear, light, odorless urine flow. Odorless excreta. They say your boo boo not going to smell.
Ah,
Disappearance of acute symptoms of detoxification. You're not going to have all this so-called acute crises going on. Resumption of normal pink color under the fingernails. Increased rapidity with which blood flows back into the skin when forced out by pressure. Disappearance of unpleasant body odor. You're not going to have to wear deodorants and use soaps no more. Bright, clear eyes and sparkle. Renewed strength and vigor. A feeling of joy and well-being. Those are signs that a fast has come to a completion. Now, if you go beyond that, you're going to start going into what we call starvation.
Starvation.
All right. So if you're doing an extended fast, we always suggest that you get up under a hygienic supervisor, and we do supervise fast. So now, if it's a short one of 3 or 4 days, you can go on that journey by yourself. But anything over 7 days, we suggest that you have a supervisor to help you identify, if you need to break a fast, if a threatening crisis appear, or how to help you walk through what's going on through your body. So you have any closing statements you like to share with them? This time go fast when you're having fun.
It does. It really does. Fast wisely. Choose your fast wisely. If you've never fasted before, fast for 1 day. I'm interested in why the person is asking, like, how long should you fast? When should you stop a fast? Because I know how to go too long or too far, because I fast for the sake of fasting. Sometimes you fast for mental clarity. Research fasting and find out what the benefits of fasting are. And like Dr. Frazier said, if you're going to do it for more than 7 days, get a professional to help you, a hygienic professional to help you to navigate through that, because there are a lot of things that the body does, a lot of ways that the body communicates with you while you're fasting that you might not be familiar with.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
Yeah, and live hygienic. Drink distilled water if you got to drink water. Eat plenty of fruits. Eat vegetables. Eat nuts. Eat seeds. Anything else creates toxic environments in the body. Oh, the fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds in the right combination
and in moderation. All right. So best of health, y'all. Hey, we're looking forward to seeing y'all next week. We love y'all. Best of health and happiness, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
I like that.